All right, so we are starting on level 6, lesson 9. We are working on the unit cher. So we start by reviewing what units are. Units are letters that come together to make unusual sounds. In this case, this would say shun. It doesn't say, something else. Okay, so our new unit is actually Ture. And so your students learn that this says cher, and this is the only thing that it says is cher. So it sounds like this. And we see it in a lot of words like nature or picture or gesture. We remind students that the G is saying J right here because it's next to an E. Structure, and then we sculpture, and then we end with a word like musculature. We ask students if they know what word that might be related to, and yes, in this case, it's going to be the word muscle, right? So your words are getting pretty long and pretty complicated. So we want to remind them that they're usually related to a word that they already know, even if it has, a funky little unit on it like cher. Reading them, not as tricky because it only says one thing. Spelling it is a little bit harder for them to remember typically. So cher is always going to be spelled T-U-R-E. So we review using this. So struck, cher, struck, cher, struck, k, cher. And then we talk about, a couple words that are trickier. And then we talk about like adding different suffixes. So if this was structure to structural, you would have to drop your silent E on there because the silent E is just simply silent. It's not doing anything anymore. So if you're adding a vowel suffix, you will be dropping that silent E. So structural. Let's look at a word like maturity. Ma, again, remind students that when they hear that open A, it's got, or that sound, it's got to be an open A at the end of a syllable. It cannot be U. If I spelled mature with a U right here, it would actually say muture. Mature. Okay, so we've got mature. Now we're going to change it to maturity. Again, I need to drop my E. So I'm going to turn that in for T-U-R. And then I'm going to add itty. So now we've got maturity. Maturity. Okay. So let's take a look at the extra practice work. This is a pretty short little lesson that we have this time. They need to read the fluency drills. If this is hard for them and they are missing it, then I would go through and have them box off all the chers. And especially words that have like prematurity on the bottom here. Words that have suffixes are definitely going to be harder for them to see. And it's a good time to work on vocabulary as well. Tablature, enrapture, conjecture. So those are all probably words they don't know. Nomenclature, I love that word. So they can do that. Again, more working on cher still. So I would just make sure, again, if they're having trouble, just have them box it off. You can see we did not drop the E right here because we are adding a consonant suffix, not a vowel suffix. Different rules for vowels or suffixes when it comes to dropping that silent E. Extra practice pages, make 2 or more sentences. My adventurous grandma was posturing in the classroom for safekeeping. Okay. The next one, make real words by changing the order of the syllables. This might be hard for certain kids, certain students, I should say, because we certainly don't just work with kiddos. So we've got prematurely. I would have them make sure they're using kind of working smarter and not harder. Okay. So like if they see that there's an E on here, well, then they know that this is either the end of the word or they're going to be adding a consonant suffix. So that's one way that they can work through these if these are really tricky. But we've got subculture, adventurous, lecturer, culturally, recapture, manufacturing, and agricultural. You know, not a lot of kids know agriculture, know what that means anymore. It might be one that they will need help with too. Maybe lecturer would also be lecturer. Yeah, it's an so that's also tricky. Box off any prefix or suffix. So if I'm boxing off prefixes and suffixes and circling what says cher. So I would kind of go through, I would kind of go through and be like, all right, I'm going to find all the prefixes. Add is a prefix. They haven't really learned that. And then all the suffixes, which would be s, ul, ed, ul, ed, ous, ul, ed, er, s, ing, vultures, two suffixes there, and the s, and then go through and do the cher after that. So that's it for level 6, lesson number 9.